Yeah, hello, welcome everyone, and here we are going to show our segment analysis of tweets related to movies on Netflix. And here we go. So we are doing a segment analysis of all the tweets of Netflix on Twitter. Here are our group members: Alejandro, LC, Sihan, Lee, and myself, Aryan Radadia. And here we are going to use Python, Excel, Power BI, and MongoDB for our uh, analysis. And here is our workflow. Firstly, we are going to do web, web scraping of all the tweets, and then we are going to clean that data, and then further do segment analysis on it, and then we are going to visualize it on Power BI. Here, our current topic of discussion would be natural language processing on on the deter to determine the segment of each tweets, assign segment score using segment Lexus and machine learning models. We are going to present the results of segment analysis, including segment distribution, segment trends over time, and correlation with other factors as well. Our main objectives would be to collect data, clean and pre-process it, do segment analysis, and then visualize it. Here is a in-depth a flow of our process. Firstly, the data scraping on Twitter, then cleaning the data, then store it in the database like MongoDB as we shown, and then perform segment analysis, visualize, and documentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The next part is going to be the data mining. This is the first step in our process. So, what did we do for the data mining was that first of all, we did our data mining or data scrapping using Reddit. The Reddit of API, we accessed it using Python. So the first step, of course, was to authenticate my credentials in this API. And after we had access to the API, what we did was to set the different uh, search queries and parameters that we were going to use. In this case, uh, Reddit allows to collect a maximum of 200, around 200 posts per request. So what we wanted to do was create a while loop to connect the number of data that we needed to perform our sentiment analysis. In this case, we wanted to have a first pool of 3,000 posts. So that's what we did. So we set a parameter for Netflix. That's what we are focusing on in this project, and a total number of 3,000 posts and maximum number of requests of 100 each time the while loop that we are going to see is running. We also created an empty list to store the post, and then also a variable to count the post collected. So this is the while loop that we used. As you can see, so the first step is to calculate the number of posts per retrieve, then collect the post using subreddit.search. There we used our parameters. In this case, we were searching for posts related with Netflix. And what we collected about those posts were the title, the content, the score, and the number of comments. So as you can see, this while loop we're going to continue until it collected the number of posts that we needed. That was 3,000. And then, well, at the end, we printed the data frame to see. We first organized it in a data frame, and then we printed to see that everything was in place. After we had gathered our data, what we did was the process of cleaning it. So there we performed some basic steps for the cleaning. So first of all, we removed all the duplicates. Second of all, we put everything in lower cases and we eliminated the special characters. We didn't want to get into, for example, analyzing question marks and exclamation marks because we know that that's uh, that's a topic that has been researched in sentiment analysis, and we didn't want to get into that because those require a more sophisticated algorithm for natural language process. So anyway, we removed that. We put everything into lower cases to simplify the data, and then we also removed all the URLs uh, because they didn't provide any special information about the sentiment of the data of the comments. So this is how it was, and after we had cleaned the data, uh, sorry, this is how it looked. We also eliminated every title that were empty, but we didn't do the same with the content because a lot of our data didn't have a content, so that would have left us with too few observations to perform our sentiment analysis. After the process of cleaning, we had a total of 1,058 observations that we used in our analysis.
Here's the data visualization. And first of all, we will explore Netflix user comment data using the Python programming language and Pandas library to check the data sets. And here you can see it is the title, content, score, and comments, and summer statistic. And here I made a function that checks if the comment is positive or negative. It works by using vendor, which gives a score to each comment. The score goes from -1 to 1, where -1 means negative and 1 means positive. So at the end of the process, we can take the comment from the datasets and apply the cleaning and sentiment analysis function to them. This gives you a basic idea of how the analysis user comment in the Netflix context by performing sentiment analysis on the data. And this code made histograms to show the sentiment analysis. It put the score into 20 groups, and the histogram shows how many comments are in each group and how many comments they are in total. And this code helps to figure out which words are used the most in the command of Netflix users. It shows a word count and a bar plot to give you the quick visual of how often the words appear. First, it takes all the command and gets them ready by taking out things like numbers, punctuations, and capital letters. Then it split everything into words and take out any words that don't mean much, like the or and or the. And this code groups the data by title and calculates the average sentiment score for each title. Then it calculates the number of comments as well as the maximum, and average score for each title. Then it prints out this statistic for each title. This helps understand the overall feedback and sentiment associated with different titles on Netflix. Here's all the detail. Okay, and I have created some bar chart to help visualize the analysis. There are 4 different ways to check out how popular posts are based on comments, score, sentiments, and a smash up of this metric. And the first one is top 10 title by comment counts. It counts the comments for each post and bring out the top 10 posts with the most comment. And the second one is a top 10 title by maximum score. It finds the highest score for each post. And the third one is the top 10 title by average score. It calculates the average score for each post. And the last one is the top 10 title by average sentiment score. It calculates the average sentiment score for each post.
So for our data visualization, after we completed our data scraping, data cleaning, and data analysis, we focused on how to create different visuals for our project. The first one was the distribution of sentiments scores, which was able to analyze the counts versus the sentiments, with 1 being the highest and -1 being the lowest. We can see with the sentiments, we had 77 as the highest for 1 and about 11 as the count for -1. So you can see where there's a high sentiment score in the count as well. We then use this particular code to be able to get the word frequency and word count. And you're able to see here from this particular visualization, we wanted to make it clear which particular words were the most frequent in our analysis. And we can see that Netflix is one of the highest. Have is one of the highest. Like is also one of the highest. If you look closer, you can also see smaller words like reason, top, internet. Those are different words that also show up, but the different sizes show how much they showed up in our analysis. From this particular histogram, we're able to see the same word count we were talking about, the word frequency. And this is able to help us clearly understand what we were speaking about, when Netflix had a word count of 475 versus words like have and like, which had 284 and 266. So these were part of the top 10 word frequencies. We also use this code to be able to understand average sentiments. And the one of the top ones that I would like to mention is Netflix. The day I see an ad while watching a movie or TV, I will unsubscribe. And from the average sentiment score, you're able to see it had a -27, which means a lot, which means the sentiment towards it is not that great. And here, you're able to see that we continue to do the average sentiment count. And this particular visualization talks about the top 10 titles by comment count. So different titles had different comments count. And on Reddit, you're able to see when someone mentions a topic, different word counts come into comment counts come into play. And the top here was the same thing that I mentioned before. Netflix, the day I see an ad while watching a movie, I will unsubscribe. And you can see that a lot of people resonate with this particular comment, and there were lots of comments that came with it. Another thing is the top titles by maximum score. If you know Reddit, you're able to tell that lots of scores come into play when you're using Reddit, because you vote up or vote down. And you're able to see that here as well. The top title is the same one that was mentioned early on. And there's a sort of trend that happens. So with our top 10 titles by average score, the top is the same title that was mentioned early on. So you can see the trend in all the visuals that we created. And our top 10 titles by average sentiment score, it was also a different one this time, which was top favorite Netflix series, which means this was on the positive end. So what our visualization and our complete project helped us understand is that the analysis of sentiment scores for Netflix titles enabled us to comprehend user sentiments towards specific content. It also, the visualizations of the sentiment scores through the distribution of the histogram offered a clear depiction of prevalent sentiments among users, and we're also able to gain a comprehensive understanding of overall sentiments. Thank you so much.